Hello. Now this video is for someone who is how can I put it? Okay, you are in Europe, Sweden to be precise, and you have not come in contact with such questions. Just know that you will come in contact with it. Mm? You meet people, especially people you meet them for the first time. You will think that someone sent them to come and investigate your life. Someone you have not met, someone who isn't your friend. In fact, just know anybody, old or young, you will find questions. They start asking you questions like, they have sent them to you. Let me put it that way. Well, for someone who hasn't come in contact with such questions or such people, don't feel embarrassed when you meet it, because you obviously do. Because majority just get to ask you those questions. Okay, you meet someone for the first time. If you haven't been here for long, you meet someone for the first time, be like, hi. If it's in Swedish, they'll continue. The first question will be like, what's your name? You will tell them your name. How long have you been here? When you tell them, if it's that you're speaking in Swedish, oh, you've been here for this and you're speaking Swedish like this. Okay, let me continue. Maybe you would like to defend that, but the next question will be like, where do you live? You will tell them, do you live alone? You'll start wondering. You're not used to such questions from where you come from, especially from where I come from. Do you live alone? Okay, if you say you live alone, fine. They'll be like, okay, do you have kids? If you say no, okay, fine. Maybe the conversation will end there. Like, how old are you? That's an obvious one. How old are you? When you tell them, okay, fine. But when they ask you, do you live alone? Yes. Are you married? If you be like, yes. Do you have kids? You will answer. If you say yes, they'll be like, boy or girl? How old? If you say one, is it a boy or girl? How old? Do they live with you? And if you say you don't live alone, okay, are you married? Maybe you're living with a partner. Are you living with your family? Are you living with your parents? Do you have brothers and sisters here? That's someone you just met. Oh, I don't understand what they do with those questions, and I don't understand what they do with the answers you give to them. But I have come to realize that it's their own way to converse with you when they meet you for the first time. But where I come from, it's we find it like you're trying to get into someone's privacy by asking such questions, especially when you meet them for the first time, you know. And then when you tell them, what do you do for a living? Yeah, how old are you? I've asked that one. Where do you come from? Which, like, if like for me, they'll ask me what part of Africa I come from. When last did you travel home? Do you intend to travel home? Yeah. And if you say, when you ask them, when they ask you what do you do for a living, you say you're studying, you ask you what do you study. If you say you're working, okay, you need to tell them where you're working. If it's that it's a colleague at the job site, be like, oh wow. If they are polite enough and they think you're just answering their questions without asking them, they will start telling you about their own life. The funniest thing is that most at times there are even foreigners who get to ask you those questions. Like, seriously, you'll start wondering, why? What is it? What do you want to do about my life? How old I am, what I do, if I have kids, if I live alone or not, where I live, when I came to Sweden. And some will go as much as asking you what brought you to Sweden. Like, seriously? Like, what brought you here? I don't know about other parts of Europe, but obviously, if you haven't come in contact with such people, because you meet them almost all the time, if we are not discussing, if they don't discuss about the weather, they will start asking you such questions. So just For those who don't get to uh, lose their temper so easily, they'll be polite enough to answer to the end. But for those who can't take it, they'll just tell you, oh sorry, I can't answer, but I don't understand why you're asking me such questions, you know. And for some people, they will just understand, but it's not normal for people like from where I come from. Like someone will just meet you and start asking you such questions, but here it's quite normal. Even someone you just see, like the person has no right, like, to ask you, but they get to ask you anyways. And the funniest thing is that most at times you find yourself answering. Even your body language should tell them like it's enough with such questions, but you find yourself answering. So I don't know if most of you, those who are in Europe, I don't know, abroad, if you have come in contact with such people, if you have encountered such questions, and how did you feel about it? Is it okay for you to meet someone uh, for the first time, or for you to meet people you're not used to them to get to ask you such questions? Is it, do you think it's normal? Are you okay with it? Do you have you had such experience? If you have, just drop it in the comment section below. And also thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.